Right, let's get straight into this. No messing about. These episodes have been taking longer and longer, and a lot of sort of confusion. Um,
Hang on a minute. We're already going at 100%. It's scary.
I want to go at
Chill.
200%. I want to go. Actually, that's actually what I've just said. One of the things that annoys me, one of my sort of pet peeves when people do that, like when they said, "Yeah, I want to give 150%, or I want to give 200%." No, you can only give 100%. You can't give any more than that. The
Well, you
percentage.
actually can if you're talking about like of a business. They've made 2,000. They've made 200% more profit than last time.
Okay, but when they say that, they mean like they basically doubled the maximum profit of what they've made or something along those lines. But either way, I'm no mathematician, but what I do know is you can only give 100% is the fullest, 0% is the least. Do you know what I mean? So anything. So when someone says, "Yeah, I'll give 110%," you can't. It's up there with pet peeves like, "Yeah, I've done a full 360." No, you would have done a 180 because if you'd have done a 360, you'd have turned exactly around in a full circle, be facing exactly the same direction
Like,
you
can
were
we just
facing.
roll the
Oh,
intro?
roll the intro,
God.
man. Roll the intro.
Let's
Right,
just get
okay.
on with it.
Right, how are we
Okay.
doing? How are we doing anyway? What's
I'm
going on?
doing great.
Your shirt's saying differently.
Why?
I don't know. You're looking very sort of. I don't want to sort of
Sorry,
like.
I don't own an
I
iron,
don't want to
mate.
put you down. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't. I'm here to build people up. Do you know what I mean? That is my general sort of vibe. I'm the kind of guy that builds people up from the inside. I don't like putting people down, but I've got to say that shirt is pretty sort of.
What's wrong with it?
Oh, it's just it's pretty plain.
Okay.
Um, and secondly, it's could do with an iron.
Yeah, it could. So could my jeans.
Yeah,
So could my hair. Actually, so could my trainers, to be honest. Look how creased they
they are looking quite creased. But
are.
look, let's stop mucking about with that, man. Let's
Let's
get
stop
straight into
mucking around.
podding because one of the things that we have been doing is we just spend too much time talking, and it's because it comes natural to us, and because we are literally just having
Wait, we're spending
conversations.
too much time talking on a podcast.
No, but
That is
you
pretty
don't want to
insane.
make it too long. You want to make it sort of that people.
One day we'll just do a
Yeah.
podcast episode where we sit and stare at the camera the
Yes,
entire time.
yes, exactly. That would be
Oof.
a good one. They'll probably people probably prefer that because we're talking more sense than what we normally do. Right. Anyway, let's get into what do you want to talk about, man?
I did want to talk about this. I wanted to talk about this for ages on like
Right.
a couple other
Okay.
podcast episodes.
Is it going to be something I'm comfortable with?
It should be,
Okay.
yeah. I'm
Okay.
hoping,
That's fine.
yeah.
All right, no problem.
But it might. Whoa. Sorry, Ekin. It might be something that not a lot of people want to hear, but
Right.
they
Okay.
need to hear.
Right. Okay. Go for it then.
And it's about having, in my case, a male friend. In
Mm.
your case, a female friend. I feel like but when you're your age, it's okay. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's married pretty much. Everyone's kind of, through work and stuff like that. But when I don't. Maybe I'm just not the type of person to have male friends. I don't know. Maybe they just don't get along with me. I don't get along with them. I don't know.
I've got a pretty strong opinion on this, and I'm
Okay.
going to just say men and women cannot be friends. They can be friendly, right? They can get on with each other. Men and women can be like you can like someone from the opposite sex, get on really well with someone from the opposite sex. However, I don't actually think it's a friendship. And there'll be people out there screaming at the thing, going, "No, you're wrong. You're wrong.
That's my homeboy.
That's me and him have been friends." Like, there's always at some point in the relationship it gets weird. Yeah, at some point. I tell you what can happen. Let's say you're in a couple. You've got your partner, and she has got friends.
Yeah.
By all means, you get
my
on.
my point my point
Yeah,
exactly. I guarantee a boy is not interested in talking to you, because wait, hang on. A boy is not interested in you, in being friends with you, unless A, you're shagging him, B, he's gay, C, you're gay, or D, he's shagging your mate. That's the only possible.
okay, yeah. I mean, you've thrown the gay sort of caveat in there, and
Well,
I
it's
might,
true. I mean,
yeah. I mean, I might sort of retract slightly what I'm saying with making it like a hard male female thing because yeah, if you are gay, there is a possibility that you can be friends with
yeah.
another female, but that is because the sex and the physical attractions removed. So, for example, I can totally understand. I could totally understand a gay male being friends with girls. It happens a lot, actually. I think most girls, females, have got a gay friend.
I
You know,
haven't.
so well, no, okay, do you know what I mean? But you know, it does happen more often. But let's not try and, you know what I mean, because that's now there's always an exception to every rule. And so
Yeah,
let's not
true,
focus
true,
on
true,
it.
true.
So too many people always do
I
that when they
just,
explain that they focus on the exceptions rather than the actual hardcore straight line rule of I don't think they can. And
I think there's a certain level, like, oh, what happened?
Pwah!
Oh my god. I think there is a certain it, degree where I kind of go, okay, then that's fine. Maybe if you're friendly, I don't know, it's your boyfriend's friend or it's your
Yeah,
girlfriend's friend,
yeah,
sure.
agreed,
Or maybe you're just in a group, maybe even then, maybe not.
agreed. But now, just on that,
Yeah, go on. You
um,
say what you're going to say because I have an important thing to say.
just on that, say like where you said they're friends and yeah,
Yeah,
that totally works. However, where it then to me is not a friend anymore is because you wouldn't have like an issue, and then say you got your partner, you wouldn't have an issue, and then ring her friend or another girl that she happens to be friends with. You just wouldn't do that, would you? So
that's
therefore, you aren't really friends.
that's exactly my point. And you know what? I'm gonna get close to the camera. I know what you're.
No, no.
I know what you're up to. Okay, the guy best friends who sit there and their girl best friend has an argument. You become the shoulder that she can cry on.
Yes,
I see what you're doing.
yes,
Okay,
yes,
you're
yes.
playing the long run.
That,
Okay,
exactly that.
I
And
know exactly what you're doing.
I,
You're playing checkers. I'm playing interdimensional chess. Okay,
yeah,
stop. I
yeah.
see what you're doing. I'm 5 steps ahead of you.
And this sounds very personal, like so. Now I'm a bit worried now that this is like something
No,
that's
but
already happened. But you're quite right, Lulu, because
I'm literally walking proof that it doesn't work. Or maybe I'm just not the type of person to have guy friends.
it's not you. It's general, and blokes in general can be quite sneaky and snidey, and they'll happily be friends. They'll happily befriend you, and you know pick up the phone. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh no, oh what did he do? And then you're spilling your heart out about like this boyfriend. Oh, I would never do such a thing. Oh no, oh my god.
Personally, I wouldn't have that.
Do you see what I'm saying? And it's a
Slimy.
very sort of slimy, snaky, sneaky way in. Do you know what I mean? So men and women can be friends. I'm not thinking there's exceptions to every rule. However, it's very likely we
It's
could
very unlikely that you will remain friends.
remain friends,
without any type of
and it's
relationship
it's
going on here.
friendly, but it's not a friendship. You know what I mean? A friendship to me is like, oh, bruv, you won't believe what's happened to me. Do you know what I mean? Oh, bruv, do you know what? Like, do you know what I mean? I've got something. Do you know what I mean? And well, no,
I've got gangrene.
Do you see what I'm saying? Do you know what I mean? You'd ring a pal because he is of a similar. He's similar to you. He understands.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wouldn't ever ring like another woman. And you could have this thing where you go, oh, I went to school with this person. Yeah, so I went to school with somebody. So I mean, for you, it don't really apply, so it's because you go to an all-girls school. But
No boys allowed.
But I went to a school, and it was.
You went to a school?
I went to a school, believe it or not, and it was a mixed school, and there was. I mean, there's plenty of girls in there, and there's plenty of girls since then that I'm quite fond of. I remember them from school times,
Yeah.
and they were, you know what I mean. And they're all right. Oh, how are you doing? I want to see them do well in life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't want to, you know what I mean. But
I don't think there's
wouldn't.
anyone who I wouldn't want to do well in life.
Oh, there's people that I definitely didn't want to see him do well in life. You know what I mean? With glee, you know, when something bad happens to him, you're like. But we're going off the subject.
Yeah,
but yeah,
true.
so girl boy dynamic is tricky because at some point it always gets in the way. The sort of physical side of it always gets in the way, and I would maintain that it's just
Fool me
not.
once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on you again. Because I will not be brought down.
Yeah, and you're quite
Ugh.
right. I think, and although the worrying thing about this is that it almost seems quite a sort of a personal.
It is a personal.
Yeah.
Think about it. Like you pretty much know all my past relationships.
Well, yeah, relationships. I've known
You've known all of them. Let's be honest.
Well, I know one of. I know. Yeah, I've known all. I've known all of them. But I mean, as far as in terms of relationships, I only thought you've only had one.
Well, no, that's not true.
Well, you've had like. Yeah, I mean, there's been. Oh yeah. Well, yeah. So 1.5.
So with that, oh God,
Stop squeaking.
Squeaking around,
Amateur.
man. We started off as friends. Pretty much all of them. We started off as friends, then turned into that. This is what got me to that point, anyways, where I was like, yeah, I don't think I can have male friends because it just ends up ended up in a relationship, whether it's short term, long term. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So that's what I've always thought, that's the best way to start a relationship in my eyes.
No.
Because when you see, it's more like when you are friends, they're not looking at the physical side of things, they're looking at the emotional side of things. Like I don't look at people who I want to be friends with and go, yeah, but you're ugly, so I don't want to be friends with you. I'm looking at it like, oh, you're a really nice person to be around, I want to be your friend, and then the physical attraction comes afterwards.
Yeah, I think with a relationship, what should happen is you should the first thing should be like a physical attraction. You know what I mean? So
Oh,
you
with
look
a
at
relationship, I think
with any relationship, the
yeah.
first thing should be the physical attraction. Let's be honest, where none of us are mind readers, but we have eyes in our head. So you can look at someone and go, oh, like as if you're a girl, you go, oh, he's a cute guy, he's good looking. Do you know what I mean? He's
Well, no, not if
handsome.
you're a girl. If you're attracted to him.
If you're let's just keep down the straight and down. There's men and there's women. Everything else is a caveat that don't need to be.
Well,
Do you know
I'm
what I
not
mean?
just saying that. I'm just saying there are also.
So the initial thing is the first thing is a physical attraction, or fancy that person, and then off the back of that, ideally you want to be, but because you already now you know that you're physically attracted to them. Now you also know that now comes the building of a friendship. Do you know what I mean? So if you then want to spend all your time with that person, then it tells me that, and that person wants to do the same back, then that tells me that is already a very rare
That's
thing.
more than a friendship. No boy is going like you're asking him, oh, can you? I don't know. Do you want to come down to the comic shop? I don't know. What do people do? I don't go out.
Yeah.
And if he's saying yes, congrats. Just get married and have kids already. Like it's not.
Yeah, I mean, if you have in any relationship that works is so you've got a physical attraction, you've then got the sort of the friendship side of things. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't matter if you know, and too many people mistake physical and this kind of sort. I don't want to be sort of getting vulgar and stuff, but lust and all this sort of thing, they mistake it with attraction. Oh yeah, we're super. No, you're not. You're physically attracted to that person, but half the time you can't stand being around each other. So that already is
True.
not a match. You have to be able. Me, for example, I'll go out of an afternoon and I actually can't wait to come home and see Kate. Do you know what I mean?
I
Like,
think that's quite nice. Like I've never really
and
understood love, but I see
yeah,
you guys, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's what love must be.
it
Then
is because there's that is that everything that I think of or everything that I do is in with her in the back of my mind. So I wouldn't like just make a decision and go right. I tell you what, I'm going down the pub. And there's some people, you know, like you get that thing where people go, "Oh, you're whipped" or "you're this." Definitely not. Do you know what I mean?
not pussy whip.
No, because some people, you know, like we blokes they, amongst themselves, they make a joke, oh yeah, got off the boss. And no. I actually want to spend time. Do you know what I mean?
Though I'm willingly spending time.
I'd rather spend time with
Yeah.
her than you know what I mean, than you lot. Do you know what I'm saying? And that is that thing what a good relationship is. Whereas you might have relationships where you're kind of in them and it's functional and it works, but you sort of everybody's doing their own thing. On the weekend, right? I go this way, you go that way, and that is not a good relationship.
I think there's a huge difference between, and especially like when you're in a relationship, like when you're younger, teen wise, you know, I'm going to give you what you want, what you need to hear, not what you want to hear.
Yeah.
When I say this, but I think there's a huge difference. Yeah, wipe your head. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think there's a huge difference between being in love and having an attachment to a person.
Yeah.
Especially when you're younger, you're texting each other every day, snapping each other every day, whatever, sending whatever messages, and you're then seeing them once a week or even every day if you go to school together.
Yeah.
If you go to a mixed school, and it's like you're not in love. You just see the person every single day of your life. You have an attachment to them now, and whether you want to or not, like you have to kind of keep up with that.
And there's always sort of levels. So they think some people might sort of you might be in a relationship and that person is 60% into you and you're 100% into them,
or 150%.
So do you see the disparity? So you should both be into each other the exact same amount, and you should both be we're 100% committed to each other. Do you know what I mean? 60% means they like you, they want you around, they want to be with you, they want to be they treat you nicely, whatever. But 40% is reserved for other things and other people and other interests, and that is never going to work. Do you know what I mean? Because it's not they're not 100% committed to you. Being 100% committed should be making sacrifices. So going, I'm not a fan of that. However, it's because you like it. I will go, okay, that's fine, that's your interest, I will come on board with that. However, if that interest is being if that interest is sort of overriding anything that I need, then all of a sudden, no, this is not a working relationship anymore.
With one of my first proper relationships.
Yeah.
It was very. Do you remember when I used to get into running?
Yeah.
I don't even want to talk about it, to be honest.
I don't want to talk about it either because I got so much hope from it. I was like, oh my god, great, we've both doing the same thing, and then it just like it lasted about a week.
I was very like, I want to get to do this, and one of the main reasons, what kind of, well, wasn't one of the main reasons. It was kind of an aspect of the reason I stopped, but it was because my partner at the time kept trying to compete with me rather than kind of like, what's the word, like big me up and be like, no, you can do this, you can do this.
Yeah.
Like I did like
it's I
would run 3K.
Yeah.
I would run 3K, and then he'd go, oh, do you know what? I'm gonna run 4K.
Yeah.
Or I'm gonna run 1 mile more than you.
Yeah.
Rather than being like, oh, 3K is really good.
Oh, well done.
Yeah. Thank you.
And
or whatever.
And I'm glad you
it's
mentioned
like you've been to Tenerife, I've been to Leavenworth.
Yeah. And I'm glad you mentioned that because that is a very common thing that happens in some relationships. It becomes a sort of a one-upmanship. It becomes a rivalry rather than a thingy. I say A, she says B. Do you know what I mean? It should never be like that. It should always be. And you can disagree with someone. There's nothing wrong with disagreeing with someone. However, it's the way you have to do it in a way that also accommodates their feelings.
Yeah.
So I might not agree with my other half on something, but then I can just say, look, from my point of view, I see it this way.
Yeah.
And then she can compartmentalize that and go, okay, I see it from your point of view. This is my take on it. And then, half the time, 9 out of 10 times, there's nothing wrong with, you come to an agreement. You go, okay, that's fine. It's no problem at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But when it's that constant sort of, and when you don't feel supported, there's this thing that they say, I don't feel seen. When you don't feel seen in a relationship, that is the worst place to be because you're in a relationship, but you're lonely.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't want to get too dark on this because we wanted to thingy, but I'd much rather you just so you started talking about your old relationship.
Yeah, I mean, I've got some funny stories from that, obviously.
Yeah. Maybe just tell one because I don't want to sit here listening to your old relationship.
I don't want to sit here talking about it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I actually want to get. I hope he's doing well. Whatever.
Yeah. And you're not here to give him because this is the thing where now.
You want to talk about me? You start your own podcast with your dad.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's like you don't want it to be where it's like a sort of almost like a tribute, or almost like a sort of, or it's like a kind of sort of, oh yeah, look, still talking about me.
Yeah, and it's not even that. It's just because it changed my life a little bit in a way. Like it showed me what not to have in a relationship.
Yeah.
Who I shouldn't be with in a way.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a big part of who I am to this day. I mean, we were together for a while, so we were very young when we were together, so it was a big part. But one of the funniest stories I have, I think it was the first time that he had met you and Kate.
Yeah.
And I think you remember this.
I do remember.
You would have remembered this. And he had. I hope he's laughing about it now, but he had broken his leg. Right, this was when we started dating. He had a broken leg, so this was, we didn't know how long it was going to be for. So he came down, his parents had dropped him off, and he had come down to the old pub with us.
Yeah. And
you said, oh, we're going to go back to the house, we'll come pick you up later from the pub. And I was like, well, I don't want to just sit in the pub and do niche, do you know what I mean? And neither did he.
Yeah.
So I was like, right, well, let's just go, we can walk home.
Yeah.
I think I kind of knew the way. I mean, I hadn't been here. This was like before, like I kind of knew the way to back to yours. So we were walking, and let me explain it in a way so it makes sense. So where you live, there is 2 ways to go. You can go through a pavement, then an alleyway, then this, that. I didn't know that way. I've only ever driven.
Yeah.
And the driving part is where there's no pavement, and it's
quite a treacherous road. Yeah.
Just road. People swerving around.
You're not supposed to walk down it. It's
You're meant to drive. And I was like, right, I know the way, trust me, we're going to be there in a bit. He's obviously got crutches, limping down this, what is it, bloody roads,
country lane, yeah.
literally like out something out the
Dead,
country,
and there's sort of a lot of dead
countryside.
angles and things like that there.
Yeah, you can't see the cars coming. We're just surrounded by trees and then gated communities. And my phone had died, so I couldn't even call you.
Yeah.
And we kept having people come up to us, being like, drive past, be like, "Oh, do you need a ride home? Do you need a ride home?" And we were like, "Well, no. What's going to happen if you give us a ride home? He's got a broken leg, and I'm a young girl, so I don't know what's going to
Yeah.
happen." And then finally, you come driving past. You're like, "What's going on?"
What are you doing, nutter?
But
Yeah.
yeah, I hope that really shaped him as a person. Because I know it did shape me.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you know, and you haven't, and you know, the problem with relationships is, I mean, you'll be going through them, and it won't be. You will have other relationships in life. That's just the sad reality of it. It's the days are gone where you meet someone and then that's it. You married and then that's it forever. And quite often, I mean, in that day and age, it was often there was people sort of living in silence, you know, suffering in silence because they were stigma used to force them into a relationship and they had to stick it out.
What was it like Sylvia Plath when she put her head in the oven?
What's that? I don't know about
Sylvia, she put her head in the oven.
that. Okay, I don't know about that, but what I do know is that in the olden days, a boy would meet a girl and then they'd end up together and then that was it. There was no sort of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas
That's the beauty of the modern
nowadays,
day.
in the modern day and age, you know what I mean, although in some ways you look at it and you go, it was a simpler time and it was a lot easier. It was a lot less
Well, I
confusing.
wouldn't know.
Well, no, and neither would I really,
Yeah.
because I mean, I've had to go through a few relationships to finally find someone that I'm really sort of content and happy with and really love, you know. So
Yeah.
it is one of those things. I mean, it was I had this girlfriend. This is long before I met your mum, and I'm not going to say her name, but she was an absolute nutcase. And this is where the physical attraction and everything like that.
Yeah.
At the time, my little young mind.
But how old would you have been? Like,
well, I would have been about. How old would I have been? I just bought this car, so I remember. I'm going to go off the back of that. I was about 21. I was about 21. Yeah, I was 21 actually. Actually, I was still 20.
Okay.
Sorry, I was still 20. And it then probably went on until I was about 20,
45.
23 or something. No, that was about 23 or something like that. Yeah, maybe 23, 23, 24. That's how long it went on, but it was so toxic. And I mean, I can give you countless like stories of just complete lunacy.
We'll give like one.
And I'm quite a sort of a placid bloke. Do you know what I mean? Like, not placid's the wrong word, but I'm quite a sort of a laid back kind of dude.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? I don't get too overly too excited about things. But there was, I mean, honestly, she used to bring out the worst in me, even, you know. And I mean, I've got so many stories, but like one of them was that so I went around her house, had some form of argument over absolutely nothing. Do you know what I mean? And this is just quickly another word of warning to anybody out there. If you're arguing, if you're constantly arguing with your partner, then it's not a good relationship. Yeah. You know, them people that say, oh yeah, we have the odd row and that, but after that, everything's all right. No, this is not how it should be. If you're rowing a lot and you're constantly rowing, it's a regular occurrence, then there is a problem. You should have a row, maybe. I don't know. There shouldn't be a guideline to it, but ideally never.
Yeah, you shouldn't have like a tally chart of how many rounds you have.
In a good relationship, you might have a disagreement. You might have, I think this
But
way, you think that way.
That's rarely, and you shouldn't be rowing over little things.
Over little things, and that is the key factor. If you're rowing over the most minuscule, banal things, it's
like who's washed the dishes.
Get the hell out of there. Yeah, because that means someone's not able to use their words. Someone's not able to use their sort of mind,
or worse, both of you are as bad as each other. Yeah, and you're not compatible. You should go find other people.
Exactly that one. Some people are just not compatible with each other. Some people just cannot. Do you know what I mean? And this is the reality of it. And they have that row, and sometimes it's more the other party than yourself. But either way, you're still, if you're bringing that out in that person, then please just leave. The first sign of an irrational argument, especially if it gets very sort of what's the word? Very, very toxic.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'll give you one example. I don't want to talk too long on it, but I'll give you one example. I mean, there was one thing where we had this little flat together in Crystal Palace, and I had a few bits around there. Do you know what I mean? But I was still living at home, and I thought, you know what? I don't want to be fully two-footed, like moving in and this, that, and the other. So I spent more time just going back home to my mum and dad's. You know what I mean? Because it was like, you know what I mean? I'm not putting up with this shit. Anyway, we had a few things over there. Blah 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 blah. We had this massive row one day, and I I had this nice, at that time I had this lovely little car, it was a Gold GTI Turbo. And oh man, I worked so hard to get that car. I had it, first driving around, it's nice, like British racing green. And we had this row. I thought, see you later, goodbye. I've gone home, I woke up in the morning to go to work, yeah. And bearing in mind, would have been like 6 or something o'clock in the morning. And I've got to my car, and my heart just dropped. So the car had been scratched on every single panel, yeah, on every single panel along the side, proper violent key scratches, and then something was like tosser or something like that was carved into the bonnet, yeah. But there was one other thing to this. What she had done is she'd also got like female, what are them things, not tampons, the flat ones.
Panty liners.
Panty liners. She's got a load of panty liners, has taken the time to put ketchup on the panty liner and gone black, stack them all around the car, on the windscreen, on the windows, on the back, even on the back window. So how much time has this taken you? Did she bring? I still don't know.
Hang on a minute. I just got to take notes.
Did she bring ketchup with her? Did she have it?
She keeps it on standby.
Did she have it pre-prepared? I don't know.
How do you know it was ketchup?
Well, I don't know. I'm hoping it was. I mean, I really am. But I mean, it was some kind of red stuff. But it's like, what possessed you? And that to me was actually. There's one other one. I've just remembered. I've got to get off my chest. So this was sort of, that was one incident, but yet the stupidity in me kept going back. I mean, because I kept thinking, okay, it'll be different this time. She'd apologise, blah blah blah. Everything will be fine. Yeah, no worries. I mean, but then this happened. One time we went around and everything, blah 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 blah, and then it was actually quite amicable. Surprisingly, I've rang her up. I said, look, I'm really sorry. It's not working. I was going to say her name then. What's it called? I'm really sorry. It's not working. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can't do this anymore. I really can't do it anymore. I just, you know what I mean? You can't do it anymore. Surely, do you know what I mean? We're not right for each other.
But it's at this point you're probably just like, we're not even attracted to each other. We're just doing this for the sake of doing it.
We're just doing this. I mean, the thing is, the attraction was always there. Do you know what I mean? Like, well, listen, on her part, you can't blame her. Do you know what I mean? But like, you know, but obviously from my end, I was, yeah, at the time, and it's that young mind. You can't disassociate attraction from love. You know, you think, oh yeah, because we love, and then, you know, we're together, everything's fantastic. Oh man, we're so passionate with each other, you know. But that's not love. That is something else, you know. Anyway, but I'm on the phone to her, blah blah blah. This is the house phone still back then. Yeah, oh, yeah, all right. Look, it's not working. I really sorry. She went, yeah, okay, no worries, Lou. That's fine. Do you know what I mean? And then she said, look, you still got some stuff here. Is there any way you can come and pick it up? And I said, and now I'm thinking, oh no, she wants
Bunny Boiler. She's gonna come in.
Me there. She wants me to get over there. And
you're gonna go into the house, gonna lock the door behind you.
And do you know what's funny about it? I mean, like, I'm some big 6'4" dude, right? And she was probably about like 5'5". She was tiny. Do you know what I mean? Like, she was really like.
And you were petrified of her.
And I was mentally scared of her. Do you know what I mean? Not physically. Do you know what I mean? And she used to. I mean, she could get physically violent with me. Do you know what I mean?
Jesus.
But she was like, but I was sort of mentally scared of her. And again, rather than just going, you know, you learn as you get older. You go, I'm not putting up with this shit. Do you know what I mean? See you later. But you kind of something. Anyway, something. Oh no, she wants me there. But I did want my clothes back, man. I had some really good, like, couple of like nice shirts and a couple of pairs of like nice trousers and that. And I want them back. So I thought, you know what, like, what's the worst that can happen?
Just risk it for a biscuit.
I've been there 1,000,001 times. What's she going to do? Go in there, shout at me. Eventually, I'll leave that flat and just, you know what I mean, with my stuff, and come home. You know what I mean? Anyway, I've gone round there and I had like a Nike duffel bag, and I've sort of opened it up and I looked in and it was like shirts folded and trousers and a couple of other bits. I'm thinking, oh, okay, this has gone well. And I said, all right, then anyway, look, do you know what I mean? Like, I didn't say best of luck, but I said something like, you know what I mean? Listen, do you know what I mean?
You're never going to find anyone better.
No, I think it kind of went quite amicably, and it kind of went sort of like, oh, you know, let's just, and yeah, we parted our ways. I've come, I had my duffel bag, and I'm driving away thinking, oh, actually,
It's went pretty
actually,
well.
bless her. Do you know what I mean? Like, I felt a small part of me actually felt a little bit sorry. I've come home, throw my bag down. What's it called? Mum, what's for dinner? Anyway, do you know what I mean? Like, loving life. Do you know what I mean? And it was a
It better
Friday.
be delicious.
It was a Friday night. It better be delicious. Yeah, so it was a Friday night, and then I'm thinking, oh yeah, so, mate rang me up, oh yeah, we're out tonight, we're going Caesars, you up for it? So yeah, of course I am,
Newly
mate.
single.
I'm single. I'm single, lads. I'm out there, boys. I got all my clothes back. Do you know what I mean? I got that nice little Ralph Lauren shirt. Yeah. So what's it called? Fully showered. Fully showered. Wrap my towel around me. Time for the duffel bag. I've pulled the shirt out.
Oh.
Right, the first shirt that come out, and something dropped off, and I've gone, huh? This is odd. I've lifted up the shirt, and she'd cut the sleeve off the shirt. Yeah, she'd cut the sleeve off the shirt. I sort of laughed. I went, ha ha ha, well done. The next shirt come out, and she'd cut like the back out of it.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? And then the trousers come out, and she'd cut like the crotch out of it. Do you know what I mean? And then even the socks, she took to the socks and just cut the toes,
like the heel,
the toes off the socks and stuff like that. Folded it again. Do you know what I mean? Like, like the socks, folded them inside out. The shirt folded, so it looks like you're looking at the shirt from the top.
It looks fine.
It looks fine. Do you know what I mean? And then she each and every shirt she cut the sleeve and the back out of it. And what's good? And now this is really it enraged me. I've picked up the phone. I've rang up. I said, what have you done? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Like I said, why on earth would you do that? She said, wankers only need one arm, and hung up.
That's really iconic.
I was like, and you know what? I sort of sat back on the bed and I sort of laughed, because I was like, you know what, right? And that's all you're ever going to get out of me. You will never ever see me again. I promise you that now. You'll never ever see me again.
Wankers only need one arm. Oh, I love that.
And it was just, it was just.
Should we have her as a guest on?
Do you know what? I bumped into her sister like not even that long ago, and I deliberately didn't ask about it. I just said, "Is everybody all right?" and blah blah blah, and she didn't mention her. I didn't mention her. Do you know what I mean? And I'm happy with that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The past is the past. Stay there. There's always a little curiosity. Do you know what I mean? Where you think to
Yeah.
yourself, I wonder what she's up to. I'd heard she didn't do very well in relationships after me. Well, she ended up getting with someone who was basically matched her energy and used to basically, you know what I mean, knock her about a bit, and it kind of sort of made me a little bit sad for her. But at the same time, I thought, you know what, like, that's the type of, you put me through a lot. Now you're kind of sort of reaping what you've inflicted on other people.
It's karma. It's always going to be
Totally.
karma.
And I mean, I could name you a million. There was one story where I managed to escape out of the flat. I didn't have a car at this point, so I escaped out I didn't have a car on that day for some reason. I escaped out the flat. I remember just running. I went to the bus stop, and I just got on any bus. Imagine like a big 6'4" bloke running from the scene. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like I was running from her. I just wanted out of there. I didn't want to. Do you know what I mean? I didn't want the dramas. I'm running. I got on the bus. I'm sitting on the bus. You know when you're sitting on the back. I was sitting at the back of the bus, and then I looked out the back window. I could just see her coming round the corner. It was like, you remember the Terminator 2?
Oh my god! like Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
It was like Terminator 2. You know when the robots run, and it's like running towards. And I'm like, come on! And some woman pissing about, and then the doors went beep 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 beep, and she just got on the bus, man. I was like, oh my god, man, please! And then she spent the whole bus journey sitting there, just.
You should have just gone bus driver. Let me know.
Man, I just honestly, and it's like I look back on these things, and it's funny to laugh at now, but there will be some young men in exactly this situation now, and if anybody is listening to this, leave, lad. You know what I mean? Just
not the podcast.
Not the podcast. Leave the relationship. Get out. If the arguments are frequent,
as quick as you can.
If the arguments are too frequent, if the arguments are toxic, or if you can have frequent arguments. I don't think you should, but even if you have a frequent argument, but at the moment they turn toxic, and the moment they turn horrible, like when people say things to deliberately spite you, it's not like, oh, shut up, you stupid cow. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But someone goes like, yeah, you see, your mum or something. You know what I mean? Or something like they find something.
Your mom is so old. She breastfeeds like powder. She breastfeeds like this.
They specifically target things you've told them in confidence in a relationship, and then they use that against you.
Yeah.
That is toxic. You've got to get out of there straight away. I mean, I'm here for advice, and you know, and you was talking about your previous relationship,
but they haven't been that bad.
No, they haven't at all. And
which
you know,
I'm very grateful for.
I quite liked both the lads I've met.
You've met all
and
three.
It's difficult. I've met, well, one of them I didn't like at all, and I don't think he was ever really in a relationship. I'm not going to say his name, knobhead. I could tell from the start that he wasn't. You know what I mean? And I said to you,
you played these games before, brother.
Yeah, I mean, but it's difficult as a parent of especially a man of a daughter, and
it's difficult being a parent of a man.
No, especially being a man and a daughter relationship. Yeah. I know you're going to have relations. I know you're going to meet boys, and I know you're going to go through it. And all I can do is sort of be there to support you and thingy. I'd give you advice totally. And if I ever feel like the boy is wrong for you, I will say that to you. Do you know what I mean? And I hope you'll never ever take that as, oh, you're interfering, or oh, you're this. I will say how it's, I'd never have a problem if everything's all right. But you do, as a parent, you get a sixth sense for things that are not right, and yeah, it is very difficult, and it is very.
I mean, I wouldn't know because I'm not a parent yet, but I get it about my friends.
Which means you should never lie either. You know, you should always be open and honest, because if you might find yourself in a situation where you are kind of sort of in a toxic relationship, and it happens a lot, and girls have been murdered because of this. And do you know why they have? Because they were too embarrassed and ashamed to tell the truth. So they'd come home,
or they were just too afraid to tell the truth,
or too afraid.
They were too scared of what their partner might do.
Might do, but however, the reality of it is that a lot of people, they keep quiet because also they're ashamed. So let's say, for example, you have a row, blah blah blah. You have a boyfriend. I'm just painting a scenario. You have a boyfriend, and you have a massive row. You come home, you go, oh, Dad, he's an arsehole, he's done this, he's done that, he's done the other, and I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, blah blah blah. You know what I mean? You need to do this. Get out of there, blah blah blah. You then, a couple of weeks later, you ring me back. Oh, listen, I'm back together with so and so. You know, everything's all right. Look, we had a disagreement. Blah blah blah. Everything's fine now. A week later, you have another argument. You're going to be too ashamed to ring me and say, "Oh, Dad, this happened again." Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And this is what a lot of young girls unfortunately go through, because they are too ashamed and too embarrassed. They want the outside world to think everything's fine, but at home they're suffering in silence. And you must never get into that position where it happens. You know what I mean? You always speak to you, because, as I said, it's a serious thing. People have died over this, and it's all too common. It starts with small things. It starts with little put downs. You know, oh, you're not going to, and that is someone chipping away at your confidence. If someone loves you, they'll never put you down. Have I ever put you down? Okay, apart from your shirt.
No, have you ever put me down?
No, never.
Not in a way that's made me feel horrible.
No, exactly. So... I'd never put you down. I'll speak the truth, but I think that's not putting someone down. Putting someone down is deliberately targeting things that they're conscious about, or deliberately targeting things that they know they'll get a raise out of.
Yeah, you bring up my small head, which I'm quite conscious about.
Yeah, but I mean, that is to do as a joke, isn't it?
That is because it's small.
Yeah, but we do joke about these things.
Yeah, and then you've got a small head too. So
I've got a relatively small head for a bloke.
It's quite noticeable in the shirt. It's short head.
Yeah, but anyway, I didn't want to end on a bad note, but I think that was quite a nice. Somber. I think that was quite a nice chat that we've had.
I think I hope that everyone who is listening gets something from that. Maybe a bit of advice.
Take it. You know what I mean? And we just like, you know, this is what I'm saying, and I want you to know that I'm always here, and it doesn't matter. Don't ever feel that I better not tell him about that boy, because I know that he won't like that guy. Do you know what I mean? Because of you know what I mean? Because he supports a certain football team, or because he's this, or because he's this, or because he's that. Yeah. You know, to me, it's like if you like somebody, I will like them as long as they match your energy, as long as they match the amount that you like them, they like you back, or actually it should even be more. They should absolutely walk the earth that you walk on.
Well, you won't have to worry about that for now.
For
'cause
now,
I'm
exactly. And also the other thing is,
single.
and just this is what I want to get in there. And this is another thing that a lot of, and unfortunately a lot of girls make this mistake. They feel the need to have to be with somebody. Do you know what I mean? They feel that
Yeah.
they're not comfortable being by themselves. They feel they have to have somebody. And again, that then reeks of desperation. And boys out there can sense that. They can sense the desperation. They can sense the need to have someone, and they'll put up with bullshit that they shouldn't have to put up with, simply just to have that moment of feeling that someone, that they're adored, or that they're, you know what I mean? You can get that from friends, you can get that from your parents. I mean, you don't have to fall into that trap of somebody that doesn't really like you but is using you, and just to get that them odd little moments of, you know, what you perceive to be love, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyways.
anyway, dear Deirdre, it's been a nice
What did you say?
it's been an agony aunt sort of type of been an agony uncle type of day. But I've had a good chat with you, and
I thought that was a good
it's
chat.
been good.
Hope everyone else thought it
Should we
was
just wrap it up? Do we need to say something witty at the end? End it with something funny? I'm trying to think if there was any funny relation. I mean, I could name so many more, but I mean that one was the one that stuck in my mind, and the tampons on the car, and the Terminator.
That's quite funny.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah,
just remember, kids, wankers only need one arm.
Over
Over and out.
and out.